Hey, vinyl community, it's David. Um, yeah, I just got home from work, and the news was all over the internet of the passing of Pat DiNizio from the Smithereens, and I'm not sure why I feel like I need to make a video. Um, I do, in so much that Pat was one of my top musical heroes, so I feel like I just need to make a YouTube video, I guess, and talk about what Pat and the Smithereens meant to me. We've lost a lot of musical people in the last year or two. You know, David Bowie and Tom Petty, and you can go down the line. And for some reason, this one has hit me in a lot of ways harder than all the other ones. And I guess maybe why I feel that way is that the Smithereens always felt like my band. They were always my little secret. Um, Although they did have a measure of success. Their third album, 11, being kind of their biggest album. And I knew that they weren't my band anymore when I went to see a show when there was a band opening up for the main act, and they were playing some covers. And they were playing a really bad version of A Girl Like You from their album 11. So at that point I kind of realized maybe word's getting out about the Smithereens in my area of the world. But Pat DiNizio was 62. That's way too young to die, and I'm not sure what the circumstances were. I know he was battling some health issues of late, and I think he has for the last few years. If you don't know the Smithereens, and this is why I kind of still feel like they are my band. We all have those bands that, you know, they never really broke massively huge, and you know they hold a special place in your heart. And the Smithereens were that band to me. They were kind of, you know, my little secret, like I said already. And I'm not going to play a game of show and tell and show you all my Smithereens collection, which is admittedly pretty big. Sorry. Good morning and cheers, everyone. It's not a very good morning for me. I just vividly remember sitting home watching back when music videos were a big thing, and our Canadian music channel was airing the video for Blood and Roses, and that just I don't know why it's one of those turning points when I saw that video, and then I saw the video for Behind the Wall of Sleep from their first full-length album, Especially for You. And the Smithereens were the greatest throwback. Originally, they kind of were like a throwback to the 60s garage bands with some Kinks and some Who thrown in with some Beatles influence, but with that kind of modern alternative college sound that, you know, was kind of big at the time. But you know what? I'm going to show you a couple albums just to kind of, you know, these are the first 3 full-length albums, Especially for You, and this is the one that has the kind of biggest throwback sound to it. But this is the album. It's one of those albums that I saw the video and I literally took a bus to the local record store, which is about an hour and a half away, that I knew would carry this, and I bought this. And I mean, I can't tell you how many hours I spent playing this in high school, endlessly on my Walkman, and then I had a vinyl copy for home. I mean, this album is just stacked, but yeah, if you haven't heard this album, Especially for You, and then their second album, Green Thoughts, and then their kind of breakthrough album, 11. To me, this is kind of like the trifecta of just perfect albums of that description I gave you. And Pat DiNizio, in my mind, was one of the greatest songwriters of songs of lust and wanting, After a Girl, and Heartache, Heartbreak. And he wrote in a way where a lonely teenage boy in high school could relate, and he wrote real emotions in a way that I understood, and they weren't, you know, kind of like, there's a Knack poster behind me where Doug Fieger wrote kind of, you know, slightly dirty lust songs. He wrote lust songs with kind of more or less real emotion. And I think it's the songs that, you know, songs of the everyman and how we all feel. And to me, he is one of the greatest songwriters and conveyors of emotion that I've ever heard. He's in a small bracket of songwriters that matter to me. I'm not a big songwriter person, but there's a small elite group of them that matter to me, and they have resonated with me. And Pat DiNizio is up there in, you know, one of my favorites of all time. Yeah, so I mean, this was, and just to show you, this was their last album. Unfortunately, it was like 6 years ago now, 2011, and it was a great return to form album. They hadn't recorded a studio album in many years, and they came out with this album, and it just kicked ass. Sorry, track number 1 was the first single off this album, and just amazing. And I know when I ordered this from the website, it came with a t-shirt, and I remember the guitar player, Jim, threw in one of his guitar picks for me, which I still have to this day, and just that connection with the fans, that he would do something like that, it meant to me a lot at the time. So anyways, like I said, I'm not going to play a game of show and tell and take you through my Smithereens collection. I just wanted to kind of, I don't know if Pat will get his due respect or his comeuppance that he should in the wake of all these big names that have passed away. But in my mind, he is up there with, like I said, one of the greatest songwriters. And he could convey emotion on a boy meets girl level that I've not heard before or since. And so, having said that, if you don't know the Smithereens, you might be vaguely aware of them. Have a listen, you know, have a listen to the first 3, 4 albums, and you know, and if you do know the Smithereens as well as I do, maybe you might be feeling it like I am today, or this morning. It's going to be kind of tough getting to sleep now, having heard the news, but I felt obliged to give credit where I feel credit is due, because I don't know if Pat will. He'll get some headlines today, and I don't think that his legacy should stop at that. And that's kind of what I wanted just to put across, and put that out there, that you know, this one really, really hurts. That one just kind of came out of the blue at 62. So anyways, I'm gonna just kind of raise my glass and just say cheers to Pat. And if you've watched this, thank you very much. And I hope maybe even if one person sees this and doesn't know the band and investigates the band, that would make me very happy. So you know, I don't talk about personal beliefs on my YouTube channel, but you know, I'm not going to sit here and say thoughts and prayers to his family and all that, but I will say rest in peace and cheers. And you would never have known that some boy in northern Canada was so seriously affected by you. And like I said, I hope someone maybe watches this and kind of maybe conveys that to his family and band members, that, you know what, he affected a lot of people, and this is one of them. So anyways, we're going to end this here. If you've made it through this, thank you very much. I hope I kind of hope I made some sense, and I kind of got across what the Smithereens and what Pat's songwriting meant to me as a teenager. He was there when a lot of people weren't, and it's odd how music does that to you. Anyways, I'm going to end that there. So thank you very much for watching. Take care, and we'll see you next time.